Hi, this is Earl from CKS, Colorado Kayak Supply, and ColoradoKayak.com to talk to you about getting started with your first stand-up paddleboard day or first stand-up paddleboard adventure. To go stand-up paddleboarding, there's 3 essentials that you need before you ever leave your house or your shop. We obviously need a paddleboard, but also you need a paddle to help propel yourself, and also a PFD or a life jacket to keep you safe in case anything would happen out on the water. Stand-up paddleboards come in many shapes and many sizes to adapt to any size paddler. And they're also made of different materials. The most common ones are composite stand-up paddleboards. There's also inflatable paddleboards and also now plastic paddleboards. There are many common characteristics in all the SUPs out there. I'm going to go over a few of them today so you can get more familiar before you head out to the water. But our paddleboards have a top area that we stand on. On that top area we have a deck pad that gives us a nice comfortable place for our feet to rest on. All paddleboards have a grab handle. A grab handle allows you to grab onto your board and transport it with ease since they're wide enough you can't reach your arm around it like a surfboard. We also have noses or fronts and tails. We have grab handles typically on the front and back to help you get your paddleboards on and off cars with ease. On the bottom of our paddleboards, we have fins, and fins help us either with stability side to side and also help us head in the right direction and help us stay straight. Okay, the second most important item when we're going stand-up paddleboarding is a stand-up paddle. Unlike a kayak paddle, this has one blade. It also has a similar shaft, but also a T-grip. The third essential item is going to be a PFD, also known as a life jacket. Life jackets are form-fitting. They keep you warm and comfortable, but they also add flotation in case you were to fall off your board. Makes swimming a lot easier. They typically have a zipper to get in and out of, and then side adjustments. You want to make sure that it's fit nice and form-fitting so it's not going to slide around. Now that you have your equipment, you got your paddleboard, your paddle, and your life jacket, you're on your way up to your local waterway. We always suggest starting stand-up paddling in a flat body of water. Around here we have great reservoirs and great ponds for stand-up paddlers to get their first experience under their belt in a very controlled and calm environment. So once you have your paddleboard off of your car, you need to get it down to the water's edge. I'm going to show you just a quick simulation of how you're going to have successful first strokes out in the water. Okay? It's very important that we start with our paddleboard in the water and we're going to drag it on out until the water's at about our knee level. We don't want to stand up on a paddleboard right away for a couple of reasons. We have fins on the bottom, and those fins always interfere with the sand or gravel at the lake, or rocks or logs in the lake, so you want to make sure you get out to the waters deep enough that the fins in the back aren't going to interfere. So once your paddleboard's in water that's about knee deep, we're just going to go ahead and get onto our paddleboard in a kneeling or kneed position. We're not going to stand up to start. The handle is the center of the board. We want our knees to the right and left of the center of the board. A little pressure on our knees and a little pressure on the back of our feet. And now we're ready to take our first couple strokes in a kneeling position. So now we're out in the water, it's deep, we're ready to take our first couple strokes. What we want to do is what we call choking up on the paddle shaft. We're not going to put our hand all the way up on the T-grip. We're going to choke down a little bit, and we're just going to do some soft and friendly forward strokes. We're going to start off on our left side here. And then it's always good to be able to switch sides, and to switch sides we simply just switch hands on the paddle and switch to the right side. That's going to be a nice forward stroke. If we want to practice some basic turning strokes, once we finish our forward stroke, just leave your paddle blade in the water and do a series of reverse strokes, and your board will turn around those. Another way to turn your paddle board is to take your paddle and actually sweep it away from your board. So if I sweep on the left, I'll turn over to the right, and vice versa. When I sweep on the right, I'll start to turn to my left. Okay, so now we've learned how to propel ourselves in a straight line and how to turn our board in kneeling position. It's time for the moment of truth. We're going to stand up on our paddleboard. We're going to take a few steps to go over and then give you guys a chance to practice. But basically what we want to do is, having both hands on the shaft of our paddle, I'm basically going to roll my knuckles forward, place those on the board out in front of me. And there's 2 different ways we can stand up, and I'll show them both to you. One is what we call the ninja hop, which is hopping right up and standing up on your board. That's option A. Option B which is a little bit more controlled, is to go 1 foot at a time. So we can go left foot, right foot, and stand. All right, once we're in our standing position, ideally I want my feet to the right and left of the handle in the middle. I want my knees slightly bent and my eyes focusing straight ahead. We don't need to be bent backwards or forwards or side to side, just a nice athletic stance with a nice bend in the knees. So to take my first forward stroke, I'm going to put my hand on top of the T-grip, my lower hand on the shaft. Simply I'm just going to reach forward, plant my blade in the water, pull water to about my heel, and then come out at my heel. I'm going to practice a few strokes on my left, and then to switch sides, again, just switch hands. On my right side, some few forward strokes. Once I'm comfortable with that, then I'm going to practice my turning strokes. Remember, there's 2 ways to turn our paddleboard. One is a reverse stroke, or the second is a large sweeping stroke. So as we're finishing our paddling adventure, we're heading back towards our car, towards the shore. It's always a good rule of thumb to get back down to your knees as you're heading to the shoreline. Remember, you have fins on the back of the board. Your fins always interfere with rocks and sand and logs. So get back down onto your knees, paddle on into shore till your nose hits the shoreline. Jump off your board. And it's back to the car and back to CKS. Thanks for choosing CKS for your resource for stand-up paddleboarding. At our store, we carry about 50 different paddle boards for you to try before you buy. We have a demo program that allows you to go out for a half day or a full day, go explore great local waterways, not only beautiful lakes and reservoirs, but also the awesome river here in town. At CKS, not only do we demo and rent boards, we also sell all the different boards that we rent here, so you can do a try before you buy program. CKS is located at 327 East Main Street in Buena Vista, Colorado, or also online at coloradokayak.com. or 888-CO-KAYAK. Thanks a lot and have a great and safe day on the water.